Hello, everyone, and welcome to AudioSummary. Here, we break down your favorite books and movies into short, powerful audio stories, so you get the heart of the story fast. If you love storytelling, but don't always have the time, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let's dive right in. The Brutalist, 2024. Overture. The film opens in the 1940s. A young woman named Zsofia is being interviewed by a border officer. The scene then cuts to her uncle, Laszlo Toth, arriving in America from Budapest aboard a ship filled with other immigrants. A voiceover of Laszlo's wife, Erzsebet, is heard, reading a letter she wrote to her husband about her and Zsofia's whereabouts, and the hope of being reunited. As Laszlo steps off the boat, he gazes in awe at the Statue of Liberty. Part 1. The enigma of arrival. Laszlo travels to Philadelphia to meet his cousin, Attila. When Attila tells him that Erzsebet is still alive, Laszlo is overcome with emotion. Attila invites him to stay with him and his Catholic wife, Audrey, and offers him work at his furniture business. Laszlo also becomes friends with another immigrant, Gordon. Attila introduces Laszlo to a client, Harry Van Buren, who hires him to renovate his father's study into a library. The team assembles quickly to meet the tight deadline, but challenges arise, such as a shattered glass dome frame. Things worsen when Harry's father, Harrison, arrives earlier than expected with his ailing mother. He berates Laszlo and Attila for working in the house. After the damage, Harry refuses to pay them, and Attila blames Laszlo for losing the business and for supposedly making a pass at Audrey, despite it being the opposite. Years later, Laszlo is living in a church with other outcasts and is now addicted to heroin. To his surprise, Harrison finds him at his new job. He tells Laszlo that the library renovation was well received, and he's deeply moved by Laszlo's earlier architectural work in Hungary. Harrison finally gives Laszlo the payment he was owed. Later, Harrison invites Laszlo to a Christmas party in his honor. Laszlo shares his story with the guests. In a quieter moment, Harrison opens up about his deep devotion to his mother and the rejection he felt from her parents, who never truly accepted him. Laszlo talks about brutalism, his preferred architectural style, explaining how it was designed to resist erosion and survive through war. Afterward, Harrison announces plans to have Laszlo design a community center in his mother's memory. It will include a gym, a library, a theater, and a chapel. Laszlo begins work on the project and is given living quarters at the site. He hires Gordon and creates over 80 jobs for the project. However, he clashes with some of Harrison's associates, including Leslie Woodrow. Meanwhile, Harrison uses his legal connections to help Laszlo bring Erzsebet and Zsofia to the United States. Part 2. The Hardcore Beauty. In 1953, Laszlo goes to a train station with Maggie Van Buren, Harry's twin sister, along with their lawyer and his wife. They meet Erzsebet and Zsofia. Laszlo and Erzsebet are joyfully reunited. She is now confined to a wheelchair due to osteoporosis, and Zsofia is mute. When Erzsebet asks about Attila, Laszlo says he didn't invite him in case they were delayed. That evening, the Van Burens host a dinner. Erzsebet shares her background in journalism. At night, she wants to be intimate with Laszlo, but he hesitates, fearing he might hurt her. She reassures him and forgives him for the women she sensed he had been with in her absence. As the community center progresses, Laszlo grows frustrated when Harrison's team secretly meets with another designer, Jim Simpson, to alter the original plans. Laszlo and Jim clash, culminating in Jim shoving Laszlo to the ground after being insulted. Later, Harry confronts Laszlo about Zsofia's silence, saying it unsettles people. When Laszlo responds defensively, Harry tells him the family merely tolerates him. A train carrying building materials derails, injuring 2 brakemen. Harrison, worried about his public image, shuts down the entire project and fires everyone. Laszlo, devastated, returns home and smashes the scale model of the center. Sometime later, Zsofia begins to speak again. She has married a man named Benjamin and is 5 months pregnant. She announces that she and Benjamin are making Aliyah and moving to Jerusalem. Erzsebet is heartbroken and argues with Zsofia over their Jewish identity in America. Erzsebet had converted for Laszlo, but Zsofia feels her mother's work writing for a women's column is beneath her talents. She encourages her parents to move to Jerusalem as well. Around this time, Laszlo reveals that Harrison has reinstated the project and brought him back on board. Laszlo travels with Harrison to Carrara, Italy, to inspect marble at the mines with a colleague named Orazio. One night, while Laszlo is weakened by heroin use, a drunken Harrison rapes him as a show of power and control. Back in New York, Laszlo becomes more volatile on site. He fires a young worker for playing on the scaffolding, and later fires Gordon for talking back. During a tense drive with Erzsebet, he expresses his belief that Americans don't want people like them, not even Attila. One night, Erzsebet is in severe pain, and Laszlo can't find her medication. In desperation, he injects her with heroin. She overdoses, and Laszlo rushes her to hospital, staying by her side until she recovers. Erzsebet ultimately agrees with Laszlo's views on America and admits she also wants to be with Zsofia and her unborn grandchild. Erzsebet, now walking with a walker, goes to the Van Buren estate during a meeting. In front of everyone, she accuses Harrison of raping Laszlo. Harrison denies the accusation. Harry violently removes Erzsebet from the room, while Maggie apologizes profusely. Harrison soon vanishes, and though his body is never shown, it's implied he died by suicide. Epilogue: the first Architecture Biennale in 1980, a retrospective of Laszlo's work, is being held in Venice. Erzsebet has since passed away. Zsofia returns, accompanied by her adult daughter, who wheels an elderly Laszlo to the stage for a speech. Zsofia speaks to the audience about her uncle's legacy and how the community center was eventually completed. Its design, she explains, resembles the structure of concentration camps, a powerful statement. She ends the speech with a quote from Laszlo: "No matter what others try and sell you, it is not the destination, it is the journey." Thanks for listening to Audio Summary. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay curious. Until next time.